You wake up one morning and something feels off. Not wrong exactly, just dull, like the pilot light that once burned bright inside you has dimmed. You still get up, you still go through the motions. But a question starts to creep in quietly, subtly, and then louder. Where did my edge go? You used to feel strong, driven, connected. But now mornings feel heavier, slower. You scroll your phone before your feet even hit the floor, and instead of inspiration, you find a dull ache in your chest and a whisper of fatigue that never fully lifts. You think to yourself, is this just what aging feels like? Let's get honest. If you're over 50 and you feel more like a passenger than the driver of your life, you are not alone. And no, it's not just in your head. It's in your hormones, and it begins in the first hour of your day. Hi, I'm Dr. James Whitmore. If you're over 50 and waking up more exhausted than refreshed, this might be the most important health video you'll watch all year. This is for you if you used to feel a sense of purpose when the sun came up, and now mornings feel like a fog. If you once had drive, focus, and clarity, and now you can't quite connect with the person in the mirror. If your relationships feel more distant, if your patience is thinner, if your spark is missing, you are not broken. You are not weak, and you are not past saving. You are simply living in a body that hasn't been properly supported at the exact moment it needs you the most. Let's paint the picture. You get up early, maybe grab a cup of coffee, maybe check the news or scroll a bit. Maybe you push yourself through a workout or just try to survive the day ahead. But something inside you feels muted. You feel slower, softer. Not in a way you can always articulate, but in a way that lingers. It shows up in your mood, in your intimacy, in your confidence. Most men don't talk about this, but many feel it. A dulling of energy, a disconnection from your own body, a lack of clarity in your mind, and a quiet fear that this is just the beginning of the end. But it's not. That's not aging. That's hormonal misalignment. And the culprit might be hiding in plain sight in your morning routine. After 50, your body naturally starts producing less testosterone. But it's not just about aging. Testosterone production doesn't simply fall off a cliff. It gets suppressed, interrupted, flattened. And the first 60 minutes of your day, what you see, what you eat, what you don't do, determines whether your body supports testosterone or shuts it down even more. Testosterone is about far more than intimacy or muscle. It's about your mental clarity, your drive, your ability to show up and stay present. It's about feeling like you steady, clear, capable. The symptoms of low testosterone don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper. A shorter temper, a lack of interest, memory lapses, late day crashes, weight gain in places that never used to store fat, mood swings you can't explain. And the dangerous part, you start thinking this is normal, that it's just what being over 50 feels like. But it doesn't have to be this way. I've worked with thousands of men across the US, UK, and Canada, and I can tell you the moment you take back control of your mornings is the moment you start reversing the spiral. Because testosterone doesn't thrive in chaos. It thrives in rhythm, and most of us have lost that rhythm without realizing it. We live in a world that encourages stress before sunlight, coffee before breath, screens before stillness. And over time, these choices add up, not just in how you feel, but in how your body regulates its most essential hormones. So here's the truth: if you've been waking up tired, foggy, low on drive, it might not be your age, it might be your morning. The biology is simple. When you wake up, your body experiences a natural rise in cortisol to help you feel alert. That's normal. But your testosterone is also supposed to peak in those early hours, setting the tone for focus, energy, motivation, and metabolism for the rest of the day. If you interrupt that pattern with screens, poor food choices, no light, or chronic stress, your testosterone flattens, your energy dips, and your confidence follows. This isn't speculation, it's physiology. In part 2, I'll show you the #1 mistake most men make within the first 15 minutes of waking, and how that single habit can derail your hormones for the entire day. It's so common, so deceptively harmless, that you've probably done it this morning without thinking. And yet studies from Harvard and the NIH show that it's directly tied to reduced testosterone, increased belly fat, insulin resistance, and even impaired sleep that night. But here's the hopeful part. Once you understand why your testosterone is stalling, you'll know exactly how to reverse it. Naturally, gently, sustainably. Because this isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming something far more powerful: clarity. You're not here to fade. You're here to reset, to reconnect, to rebuild with intention. And it starts in the morning. If this resonated, I invite you to stay with me. We're just getting started. Comment below if this helped you. And don't miss our next video right here on Senior Health Secrets. There's a reason mornings feel harder after 50, and it's not just age. It's a quiet shift happening deep inside your biology. Testosterone, the hormone that once gave you drive, focus, and vitality, isn't gone, but it's being pushed into the background. And the worst part, you might be doing it to yourself without even knowing. After 50, your testosterone doesn't just gently fade, it gets interrupted. Every night, your body works to replenish it. But come morning, that fragile balance can be destroyed by a few small habits. The first hour of your day sets the tone for your entire hormonal rhythm. And for most men, that rhythm is completely out of tune. This all comes back to one truth: your body is ruled by circadian biology. Light, movement, food. These are your levers. And if you're not using them correctly, you're sending the wrong signals at the wrong time. That's why you feel sluggish. That's why your drive has faded. That's why your mind can't stay sharp. When testosterone falls, you feel it, but not always in ways you expect. You might notice more fat around the belly, more irritability, less desire, or even brain fog you just can't shake. And yet no one talks about how mornings are the most powerful time to reverse it. Let's look at the science, simple, clear, and real. A major study called the Massachusetts Male Aging Study revealed that testosterone levels drop by about 1% per year after age 30. But lifestyle factors like sleep, nutrition, and daily habits account for a massive percentage of that decline. In other words, you're not just getting older. You may be accelerating the drop without knowing it. Sleep matters too. A clinical trial published in JAMA found that just 1 week of sleep deprivations in healthy young men caused a 15% drop in daytime testosterone. For someone already struggling with energy or motivation, that's huge. But the real problem, most men over 50 are already sleeping poorly and starting their mornings in ways that make things worse. Then there's light. Your brain's master clock, located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, relies on natural light exposure to time every hormone you produce, including testosterone. If you're waking up in the dark, heading straight to your phone and skipping real sunlight, you're scrambling the very system that sets your hormonal tone for the day. Which brings us to one of the biggest mistakes men make: a habit that seems harmless but has serious consequences. You wake up in the dark and go straight to your phone. This has become so normal, we don't even question it. But here's what happens. Your brain, freshly out of deep sleep, is met with a burst of blue light inches from your eyes. News alerts, texts, stress notifications, all before you've even taken a breath. The result? Cortisol spikes. Dopamine floods. Testosterone gets sidelined. Your body misses the one thing it desperately needs: sunlight. Sunlight, especially morning light, triggers a cascade of benefits. It suppresses melatonin, elevates mood, and tells your brain it's time to produce. Your testosterone pulse depends on it. And without it, you drift into hormonal confusion. Cortisol stays high, blood sugar rises, and your testosterone doesn't stand a chance. Add to that the missed nitric oxide response, which naturally happens when you move your body in the light. Without movement, without breath, without sunlight, your entire hormonal orchestra plays out of sync, and it all starts before breakfast. So what should you do instead? First, leave your phone on airplane mode for the first 30 to 60 minutes. That one change alone protects your nervous system. It keeps your body in its natural waking state instead of jerking it into stress. Your hormones will thank you. Second step, outside. Get light in your eyes, no sunglasses, no window glass. Just a few minutes of natural light resets your circadian rhythm, supports testosterone production, and improves sleep that night. Even on cloudy days, the light signal is strong enough to make a difference. Third, breathe. Take 2 minutes to just sit or stand still and breathe through your nose. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. This stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, the opposite of fight or flight. Testosterone thrives in this calm. Fourth move, a short walk. Gentle mobility. A few bodyweight exercises. It doesn't need to be intense. The goal is activation, not exhaustion. When you move, blood flows. Hormones circulate. Your system turns on gently and effectively. Fifth, hydrate before you caffeinate. Start your day with water, ideally with a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon. This replenishes your system, supports adrenal function, and primes your metabolism. If you drink coffee, have it after these first steps. Let your natural cortisol rise on its own. Then enjoy your caffeine in a body that's ready for it. One of my patients, John, 62, retired engineer, told me his mornings felt like a gray fog. He'd wake up, scroll for 30 minutes, skip breakfast, and go straight to coffee. He was sleeping poorly, gaining weight, and feeling completely disconnected. We changed just one thing at first: sunlight before screen. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping better. Within 4, he had more energy, fewer cravings, and that subtle but unmistakable return of motivation, something he hadn't felt in years. This is what happens when you realign with nature. Men over 50 don't need a miracle. They need a morning, a deliberate, structured, hormone-supportive beginning to the day. And it's far more powerful than any pill or powder. So ask yourself this: what would happen if you stopped rushing your mornings and started honoring them? Because testosterone doesn't thrive in panic. It thrives in rhythm. And that rhythm begins the moment you open your eyes. If this resonated, keep going. In the next part, I'll show you the second and third morning mistakes most men make, especially when it comes to food and exercise. These two are deceptively simple, but when corrected, they unlock the next level of clarity, energy, and focus. Comment below if this helped you. And don't miss our next video right here on Senior Health Secrets. If your mornings feel scattered, rushed, or hollow, the problem isn't just your routine, it's the hormonal message you're sending your body. And for men over 50, that message becomes even more critical. Because by now, your system is more sensitive to stress, more resistant to blood sugar swings, and more vulnerable to testosterone disruption. And the mistake most men make next, it's sitting right on the plate in front of them. Let's talk about breakfast, or more specifically, what's missing from it, or what's poisoning it. You might think skipping breakfast is a good idea. Maybe you've heard that fasting burns fat. Maybe you're trying to eat less, or you just don't feel hungry in the morning. But if you're over 50 and struggling with low energy belly fat, mood changes, or low testosterone, skipping breakfast might be one of the worst things you can do. Here's what happens when you skip that first meal. Your body stays in a fasted, cortisol-driven state. Instead of transitioning into nourishment and recovery, your system remains on edge. Your blood sugar stays unstable, and cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated longer than it should. That alone suppresses testosterone. But it gets worse. When cortisol stays high, your body releases more insulin to manage blood sugar. As insulin rises, another molecule rises with it. SHBG, or sex hormone binding globulin. The problem: SHBG binds to testosterone and makes it inactive. You might have testosterone in your bloodstream, but your body can't use it. You become hormonally rich, but functionally poor. Now let's say you don't skip breakfast. You try to eat clean. That's good, right? But take a closer look at the typical American breakfast, even the one marketed as healthy. Orange juice, granola, cereal, toast, a banana, oatmeal with brown sugar, maybe a coffee with milk and sugar. It all sounds fine, but inside your body, it's a hormonal disaster. These foods are loaded with quick-burning carbohydrates and very little protein or fat. They create a massive glucose spike followed by a sharp crash. Your energy tanks by mid-morning. Your mood swings. You crave more carbs. And your testosterone. It gets buried in the chaos. That's because insulin doesn't just manage sugar, it influences your hormonal environment. High insulin leads to more body fat, lower free testosterone, and higher inflammation. Not the way you want to start your day. So what's the better way? It's simple. You start your day with protein and fat, not sugar and starch. And you do it within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up after you've had water, light, and breath. Protein is essential for testosterone. Your body needs amino acids to support hormonal synthesis. Healthy fats provide the raw materials for steroid hormones, including testosterone. And together, they stabilize your blood sugar, reduce cortisol, and signal to your body that it's safe to grow focus and recover. Try this instead: 3 pasture-raised eggs, half an avocado, a handful of spinach sautéed in olive oil, and a pinch of pumpkin seeds. That's a hormonal feast, not just fuel, but information your body can use to thrive. On the go, blend a smoothie with 30 grams of clean protein powder, half an avocado chia seeds, a few frozen blueberries, almond milk, and greens. This combo doesn't just feed your muscles, it calms your nervous system and supports hormonal recovery. It tells your body, we're safe, we're fed, we're ready. I worked with a client named Mike, 67, former athlete, proud grandfather, and tired of feeling tired. His mornings were the same every day: 2 slices of toast, a glass of juice, and coffee. By 10 a.m., he was jittery. By noon, he crashed. His mood was flat, his memory was slipping, and his motivation gone. We switched him to a high-protein breakfast. We pulled the sugar, added light strength training twice a week. Within 2 weeks, Mike reported more clarity, fewer cravings, and something he hadn't felt in a long-time drive. He told me, it's like someone turned the volume back up on my brain. That's the power of hormonal alignment. Now let's move to the third morning mistake, another one that's well-meaning but often misused. It's exercise. Yes, movement is essential, but the way many men over 50 approach it can actually work against their hormones. Either they're doing too much too early, or they're doing nothing at all. Here's what happens when you push your body too hard in the morning, especially without fuel. You spike cortisol. You overactivate adrenaline, and instead of supporting testosterone, you deplete it. Long cardio sessions, high-intensity workouts on an empty stomach, or aggressive sweat sessions can backfire, especially in a body already dealing with hormonal stress. But skipping movement altogether, that's just as harmful. Because when you don't move, your insulin sensitivity drops, your blood sugar stays unstable, and your testosterone doesn't activate the way it should. So what's the sweet spot? Gentle movement. Short, resistance-based training. Intentional breath. These forms of exercise signal to your body that it's time to wake up without triggering hormonal panic. Try this: a 10-minute walk in the sunlight, a few rounds of bodyweight squats, push-ups, and gentle stretching, or 10 to 15 minutes of resistance bands or kettlebell moves, slow, controlled, focused. You don't need to exhaust yourself. You just need to activate yourself. Even better, do this after breakfast. Your body will have the fuel it needs, your blood sugar will be stable, and your testosterone will be ready to respond. This isn't about burning calories, it's about building rhythm. And here's the emotional truth: when you move first thing in the morning in a way that honors your energy, not punishes it, you begin the day with a win, a quiet victory, a message to yourself that says, I still have control, I still have strength. These habits don't require perfection, they require presence. And when you combine light breath nourishment and movement, your body remembers what it's capable of. Because the goal isn't to become who you used to be. The goal is to become who you're still capable of becoming. Comment below if this helped you. And don't miss our next video right here on Senior Health Secrets. By now, you've seen how small changes in your morning routine can quietly erode your testosterone. But we're not done yet. Because even if you fix your light exposure, get your breakfast right, and move with purpose, there are 2 more traps hiding in the very things you consume and the emotions you ignore. Let's start with a familiar comfort: your morning beverage. For most men, it's coffee, sometimes black, sometimes creamy, sometimes sweet. You might not even think twice about it. It's how the world starts the day. But depending on how and when you drink it, that coffee may be doing more harm than good. Let's be clear, coffee is not the villain. But caffeine timing is everything, especially for testosterone. Your body has a natural cortisol rhythm. It peaks about 30 to 45 minutes after waking. That peak is your biological on switch. But when you chug coffee the moment you open your eyes, you're stacking artificial stimulation on top of a natural hormonal surge. The result: elevated cortisol, nervous tension, insulin disruption, and testosterone. It gets sidelined. Early caffeine also suppresses appetite. You feel full, but you're running on empty. No protein, no fats, no nourishment. Just adrenaline and expectation. It's like trying to build a house on fumes. And let's not forget hydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is already mildly dehydrated. Coffee, a natural diuretic, makes it worse. Dehydration doesn't just affect energy. It reduces blood volume, impairs circulation, and slows nutrient delivery, all of which lower testosterone response and blood flow down there. So what's the solution? Simple. Water first. When you wake, hydrate with at least 12 to 20 ounces. Add a pinch of sea salt or a squeeze of lemon and give your cells the minerals they need to function. Let your natural cortisol cycle do its job. Then if you still want coffee, enjoy it after breakfast once your body has fuel and stability. You'll feel steadier, sharper, and more in control of your energy instead of chasing it. You can also alternate with green tea bone broth or warm lemon water. These gentle alternatives give you comfort without overstimulating your nervous system. They help you wake up with clarity, not chaos. But even more powerful than what you drink is how you feel. That brings us to the fifth and final morning mistake, one that's invisible on the surface but devastating in the long run. You start your day in isolation, in silence, in emotional numbness. For many men over 50, this is the hardest truth to face. Mornings begin in quiet. There's no affection, no laughter, no connection. Maybe you live alone. Maybe your relationship has grown distant. Maybe you've simply gotten used to solitude. But your hormones don't thrive in isolation. They respond to touch, connection, and meaning. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, directly supports testosterone regulation. When you feel emotionally safe, physically close, and relationally seen, your body interprets that as a green light for growth and recovery. Cortisol drops, blood pressure stabilizes, testosterone becomes more available and more active. When you wake into numbness, your nervous system enters a low-grade stress state. It might feel subtle, just a dull emptiness, but it drains your energy, flattens your mood, and sends the message: we're not thriving, we're surviving. You don't need a partner to change this. Connection comes in many forms: a text to a friend, a voice memo to your grandchild, stepping outside with your hand on your chest, whispering gratitude before breakfast, looking at yourself in the mirror and simply saying, "I'm still here." Even a moment of human warmth, a hug, a smile, a shared sunrise has the power to change your entire hormonal state for the day. This is not fluff, it's neuroendocrinology, and for men especially in later years, it may be one of the most underrated drivers of vitality. So now that we've explored the 5 common morning mistakes, what should your morning actually look like? It doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the more powerful it becomes. Let me give you a clear 3-step morning reset routine, one that you can follow starting tomorrow. Step 1: reset, the light and breath. Wake up. Don't grab your phone. Don't scroll. Just breathe. Hydrate. Step outside. Get 5 to 10 minutes of real light in your eyes, even on a cloudy day. Breathe slowly through your nose. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Feel the day begin inside you before it begins around you. Step 2: nourish with intention. Feed your body within the first 30 to 60 minutes. Prioritize protein, aim for 30 to 40 grams. Add healthy fats. Avoid sugar and refined carbs. Think eggs, avocado, greens, nuts, or a high-quality smoothie. Give your cells the fuel to build, not burn. Step 3: activate with purpose. Move your body, gently, intentionally. Walk, stretch, do body weight movements. If your energy is higher, do a short strength session, squats, push-ups, resistance bands. Just 10 to 15 minutes, enough to wake the muscle, move the blood, and signal your testosterone to rise. Stack those 3 steps, light, nourishment, and movement, and you'll change your biology in 7 days. You may sleep deeper, crave less sugar, snap less at the people you love. You might even notice your posture changing, your voice steadier, your sense of purpose flickering back to life. Because you're no longer waking up into chaos. You're waking up into rhythm. And that rhythm is what testosterone understands best. One of my clients, Mark, 64, tried this routine for 2 weeks. He told me he didn't feel like a new man. He felt like himself, just without the static. "It's like I can finally hear myself think again," he said. And his wife, she noticed too. This isn't a trick. It's not a hack. It's what happens when your body is finally listened to. You're not chasing youth. You're reclaiming clarity, confidence, connection. And it begins with your mornings. If this spoke to you, comment below, "I'm ready." And don't miss our next video, 5 signs your testosterone is dangerously low after 60. Because the signs aren't always what you think. Your best years, they're still in front of you. You've carried so much, more than most will ever know. You've been the provider, the protector, the steady hand in the storm. For decades, you've poured your energy into others, into work, into family, into showing up even when you were running on fumes. But now something has shifted. Your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Your mornings feel heavier, your motivation thinner. You find yourself wondering, when did I start feeling like this? When did the fire start fading? This isn't weakness. This isn't failure. This isn't you losing your edge. This is your body asking for something. It's been denied for too long. Alignment, rhythm, care, space to rebuild. And the truth is, testosterone was never just about muscle or intimacy. It's about clarity. It's about direction. It's about that invisible force that makes you feel grounded in your own skin, like you can meet the day with calm power. That feeling is still available to you. It's not gone. It's simply waiting for you to make different choices, small intentional choices that say, "I matter too." Because if no one else has told you this lately, you still matter. Your strength still matters. Your presence, your voice, your wisdom, they are still needed. But you can't give from an empty tank, and you can't lead from a foggy mind. The good news, you don't need a complete overhaul. You don't need to become someone else. You simply need to start your days differently. With rhythm, with breath, with food that feeds you, with movement that wakes you, with connection, even if only to yourself. These aren't morning routines. These are messages to your nervous system, to your hormones, to the younger man still inside you. They say, "We are no longer surviving. We are coming back to life." Because aging isn't decay, it's refinement. You've been through battles. You've endured loss. You've sacrificed more than you've said out loud. But now is the time to come home to your body. To rebuild not what you once had, but what you're still capable of becoming. You don't need to chase youth. You need to reclaim clarity. Imagine this when you wake up tomorrow. No rush, no chaos, no phone in your face. Just breath, light, stillness, water, movement, nourishment. You move through your morning like a man with a center, like a man who remembers who he is. And little by little, things shift. Your sleep deepens. Your energy evens out. Your mind feels sharper by noon. You speak with more patience. You feel more desire. You stop snapping at the people you love. You feel the world warming to you again. Not because you fixed everything, but because you finally listened. This is your turning point, and you don't need permission to begin. If this message spoke to something inside you, if you felt even a flicker of "that's me," then let that be your sign. Say it out loud, or better yet, write it below, "I'm ready." Let it be a line in the sand. Not for anyone else, but for you. Your best years aren't behind you. They're right in front of you, waiting to be claimed.